Good Friday afternoon. I'm going to do a quick video on setup 3 and 4 changes for Helix. I'm going to start with 4 because it's probably the smallest, but we did do a little cleanup on here. So this just happens to be a 21.3 chart that I use, and then a 5.1. Doesn't matter what they are. So you can make this a minute chart or whatever you want. I don't know what. Here, let's make it a 5-minute chart. Doesn't matter. The main thing is that whatever you're trading, two contracts right here in quantity, or if it's a strategy that's running, you have to have Helix as the same. And again, it doesn't matter what chart this is over here. You would just go ahead and load the Helix strategy and go in here. Okay, and then it doesn't matter what any of this is. The numeric numbers are background plots and EMAs and things like that. But remember, you're charting from this chart. This one over here with running Helix is only going to be dealing with trade management. So first and foremost is there's even a warning that'll pop up that says you have to have this the same. So if you're doing two contracts, how would you like to manage it? So let's just put one in there and one in there. And then your quantities and your stops have to be the same. So let's go to group B, which is all your trade management. So here you would have a stop of 55. Let's say it's a default, whatever it is. And then 2 is a stop of 55. And whatever your targets, it doesn't matter. You could have no targets or 30, whatever. It doesn't really matter what your targets are, or no targets at all. If you don't want to target, just do that. It'll be a runner. And then you put in all your trade management. From there, you go to setup 4, and you would want to say external executions, because that's where it's coming from, and that's it. And so you put it, obviously you should have them on the same account, of course, and that's it. And so you just let it go, and Helix will fire up. Now again, don't worry about, and there's your warning I was talking about, don't worry about the charts and anything. You could make these match any way you want, but it doesn't matter because we're not trading from this account. So the only thing you want to make sure you do is you want to unpause it, otherwise it won't do it. So you could, in essence, just hide this chart altogether and not even see it, because we're trading from here.
Bullish moving average cross. Bearish moving average
Okay,
cross.
so let's say this is your minute chart and you're looking at moving averages and you're looking at the Bollinger Bands or whatever else. You could turn those sounds off too in there. Probably should do that so you don't have to get confused with that. But in any event, so now let's say you want to go short, or your strategy goes short. It's managing it for you. So Helix manages it. And you notice I don't even have an ATM. So it's all being done from here. Maybe I should slow this down a little bit, but so you can kind of see it. So there it is. So Helix took it on, and now it's going to manage it based on this. And there it is. Okay, so let's just exit out of here. Now, if you close this, actually you probably shouldn't even see this. You can just turn it off and hide it. But if you close it from here, you're going to kill the strategy. It's designed like that on purpose. So if you want to close the position, just use the exit button, and then that way it'll keep the strategy on and it does it nicely. So let's go switch over to the new one then. So just do this. So let me go back in and let's pause this. Okay, so I just loaded my template right here. This is my skew. It's 300 is the default, and then I have 301, 302 things testing. It just keeps going up and higher and higher. It's an NQ on a 21.3 Ninja Renko. That's my email address, so we know where it's coming. It's unique, so we know it's mine. And if you're going to create one, then you should put your email address in there so we know it belongs to you. And then the date is just today's date. And then the version number of whatever sometimes it can go to 4, 5, 6, 7, if I'm doing a lot of testing. So this is the strategy 3 is what I'm working on. So, and this is a template, so it's all done for you. But this is just set up for one contract. So, you could do whatever you want there. And people that do not have VWAP right here, there's a no trade zone around VWAP. We don't want to trade around there. Then if you don't have the lifetime license of Ninja, you're not going to get this. It's just going to say, it says require lifetime license. But you could, I think there are some free versions out there. There's the low and the high, or high and the low. So I'm just going to do this, and So basically in this version, we've just kind of cleaned up the background a little bit.
Moving average cross.
That's really all there is. I should have turned off those.
Moving
Here, hold on a
average
minute.
cross.
There we go. Those audible plots. Oh, let me turn it off. Those audible plots are the bearish and bullish moving averages. So if you don't want to hear them, turn them off. If you don't have the audible sound in there, then you're not going to get it anyway. But you could change, audibles, just, whatever you want in there. So I'm turning those off because these moving averages are a little tight. But I do want to hear the entry zones. I want to know when they plot. Oh, moving averages. I was going to say that if you want to turn your moving averages on, you can, but it's not really necessary. But if you want them, you can turn them on. Okay. Entry zone short. Okay. Entry zone. So again, as I mentioned in a prior video, the entry zones, and you could change the length and the height and all that, but they're pretty much set to where kind of where I want them. When they don't qualify, you'll see them get shorter. They no longer qualify. So the way this setup is designed is that once you get the touch, you have to get the touch. Just because there's an entry zone, if you don't get the touch, then it doesn't matter. You just got to chase it. And it will. If it doesn't, if it gets a touch, it'll lock in place. And then it will chase it down until it gets terminated. There's the termination square. So in this case, in the manual mode, you don't want to be, turning it on once you've seen the termination. You want to wait until you get a new zone. So we got a zone here, and we got a touch, but it never went to fruition because it terminated prior. So what I do is when I get a touch here, I'll say enter on a down bar. And if it keeps going up like it did in this case here, you just turn it off because you don't want it anymore. It's terminated. So you got it. Now, once we get the auto mode done, when you click that, it'll do it for you. So it's not an issue. But in this case, right now, we don't have that. So the manual mode, when you get the touch, you would say down bar. And if it goes up too far, it's going to terminate. And you just got to make sure you turn it off. Same thing with this one. Never got the order. It canceled itself out. And then this one terminated itself, never got anywhere. And this one here, got it. So you probably, if you did get in here, if you went on once it touched, then you're probably in there. And depending on, now there's something about the VWAP. This is the no trade zone. So even though we got a zone there, we might have said go, it still might not have taken it if it's in the zone. So if price is in the zone, it's not going to take the order. So you just got to turn it off again because it's going to invalidate itself. Okay, so here's another one. So you see we got some touches here. So you got a touch, and then you would turn the up bar. If it goes down, you're not going to get it. If it goes up, you're going to get it. And then you're going to be in, and it will do all the management. Now, just because you get a termination doesn't mean to get out. That just means you're not taking any more trades. It won't get any more trades after a termination. So when it comes up there, if you're already in, fine, treat it. You might want to be a little careful. But needless to say, it just means that you're not going to get a new trade. Okay, so here's some more touches. Here's a touch you would have been in here, probably on one of these two touches you would have been in because it would have taken you in. But then termination would have hit it. This one never got a touch, so it was down here, then it terminated before it even touched. You don't have the touch arrow. So you got the touch arrow on this one, so we would have been in. And then of course you'd probably be at break even or something. So there's another one. Okay, so I can just do this all day long, but there's your touch, your termination. Here's a touch you would have been in. And if you're already in and it's going down, here's your low of the day. And then you see another one. If you're not in, you can get in here. If you are in, then obviously it's not going to get in that one because there is no add-on logic in here yet. So if you're in it, it's not going to take it because it has to be flat. And then you get the termination, so you're not going to take any more anyway. And then we go this way. And so right here, as soon as we get a touch and the touch arrow, I could slow it down a little bit and see if I can do it. So I'm waiting for the touch. There, just going to touch the arrow. There, it went up, got me in, and I would have turned it off had I not. And then you go from there. And then it'll manage it from there.
Target filled.
There. Entry zone short. All right, I think that's all I've got.